Thanks for wasting my time, dude. Do you understand how difficult it is DMing? I like how you said you were going to be active and stay for the long term, but then you bounce, yada yada, you suck. And he kicks me. Honestly, you should make cute girls and play with me. Hey, what's up, it's SkyDieRay and welcome to another DnDGreentext video. How are you guys doing? Having a wonderful day today. Before jumping into the video, I just want to quickly kindly ask you if you're not subscribed to the channel to consider doing so now. It only takes a moment, you can do it later if you want. And yeah, I appreciate it so much if you do. Thank you for that. And with that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. DMs are not trained, but rise to the occasion. Tips for new DM. Be me, player who only got into D&D about a year ago. Watching GreenText videos on YouTube. See a joke session that makes me chuckle. Be me again, later that day, going to have a D&D session. DM walks on us last minute. Get in the Discord call anyway. Guys suggests that we do a one-shot. Lightbulb.png. I offer to DM it. The characters are made and the session starts. Improv through most of it and only have a vague outline of what I'm doing. Party really likes it and wants me to turn into a campaign. My face when I've barely read the books and have gotten my party to want me to DM with a session about an anorexic vampire turning frogs gay. Any DMing tips, TG? Oh god, no. Honestly, that just sounds like you're already doing a great job, to be fair. And also, I think you're gonna be a forever DM now, unfortunately. This is usually how they get you, and I don't think you have a way out anymore. Anon, DMs for Roll20 randoms. I learned. Valuable lesson this last couple weeks, TG. Always just use the LFG thread. All the group explodes because of something stupid. Decide to advertise a game on Roll20, trying to avoid the annoying people that you see on Roll20, so I give everyone questions like which other games have you played, what are your favorite movies, etc. Filter out anyone who's only played 5th edition or mentions Marvel. End up with 3 okay guys and 2 chicks, one that's a 3.5th grog and another with a list of games as long as my arm, including weird like Urban Jungle and Minority. I'll refer to these two as Girl 1 and Girl 2 respectively. We're playing twice a week. 1.5 sessions in, the group dynamic is pretty clear. Girl 1 is a Twilight cleric who's mostly here for fighting. Girl 2 is an elf evocation wizard who only blows up and has a questionable sense of morality. And all 3 guys are simping hard for both girls in the group and playing some flavor of melee. Midway through session 2, Girl 2's elf wizard pisses herself and then uses prestidigitation to magic it away. I need to process this for a second, and granted I'm pretty sure that works raw, but I'm befuddled as to why exactly she would do that. Tells everyone in the out-of-character chat that her character rarely actually stops to use the bathroom and just uses prestidigitation to clean up. I wanna keep things going, so I just tell her to keep mentions of that to a minimum. All the male players simp for her and say that they don't mind, so whatever. This continues every session or two. Things like wetting herself when she fails a feat save or whenever a social interaction is getting boring. Girl 1 leaves around session 5 because she's getting annoyed by the whole situation, and I tell her that she has an open invite to the next group I have. The whole peace self situation keeps getting worse as the simping increases. Last session I ran for them was in a castle that, unknown to them, had an anti-magic field on it. Ends up pissing herself and having to walk around in it all session. Player is surprisingly not pissed at this development and just worried about getting into a fight. Other players though think I'm just being a her. Session ends with them in a meeting with a duke. After the game, Girl 2 messages me asking to roleplay the mockery that she was getting because of this privately. I say screw it and nuke the game, nuke the Discord server and block everyone involved. Just use the looking for group thread, guys. Okay. Anon can't magic. Elf sorcerer. Attempting to learn prestidigitation. Trying to cast the spell to change the temperature. Cast it on my ice cream to make it cold. I fail. I accidentally turn the ice cream into snow. I try again and fail again. I try again and fail again, but in the process I turn the snow back into ice cream. Be confused. Be upset. I wish I was a wizard instead. I hate my dragon great-grandmother. Anyone know wizards looking for apprentices that won't cut me up for science? Illusion.glp. Also, what do I do with this thing? It just appeared like a week ago from under the bed. Can I eat it? Prestidigitation and failing? Yeah, that's not really part of the rules, is it? Sorcerers are not spellcasters in the traditional sense. Their magic is inborn, and their quote-unquote spells manifest as an expression of their unique physiology or innate magical otherness. The idea that they'd somehow fail when attempting to learn a spell is dumb. Things going wrong is one thing, and no different from a dragon burping and swallowing their breath of fire or something like that. But that's something entirely different from trying to learn to cast a spell and fail on it as if you perform all the calculations and rituals of actual arcane spellcasters. Anon's DM makes him fill out a resume. Tired, disappointed, and gave up. DM says that he's running a strong roleplay, narrative-focused game where he wants motivated players that can dictate the story to him rather than rely on him. Okay, cool. I put a ton of effort into making a sign-up equivalent to a resume for a job. Discuss with him for an hour about what the game should be like and what is needed. Spend 2 or 3 hours looking over rules to get an idea of how things work and prep. Send a message again to the DM about integrating my character to his setting. No response. Okay, I guess I'll wait. 5 days later, he finally responds. Yeah, anything you want, mate? Send him my background, story, character motivation, and ask for input, and all I get is a sounds good, man. Play 10 sessions, and it's very clear that the backstory and sent to him doesn't matter. About 5 sessions in, he isn't even trying anymore and throwing random encounters to eat up the session time. Any attempt to do something interesting or make interesting narrative is handled dismissively. A third of the players aren't even showing up anymore. Finally, tell him that the game isn't for me and I wish him the best of luck. Thanks for wasting my time, dude. Do you understand how difficult it is DMing? I like how you said you were going to be active and stay for the long term, but then you bounce, yada yada, you suck. And he kicks me. Honestly, you should make cute girls and play with me instead. Okay. Kicks me. You let him do that and instead of kicking him back, you come here to cry? He just proved you're all words and no action. And he has a point. GMing is quite the ordeal, especially when the roster of players is people like you. Motivated players that can dictate the story to him. 5 sessions in, he isn't even trying anymore and throwing random encounters. I mean, yeah, you should have expected that. Your mistake was seeking a DM for a strong roleplay narrative-focused game, because D&D does none of those things. This is fine, and absolutely everything, including me, is on fire. This happened just the other day in a campaign that I was in, and I thought I'd share it with you. Be me, Tiefling Celestial Warlock. Be not me, Human Wizard, who's nearly out of spell slots because of a curse preventing him from long rest, Human Cleric, and the rest of the party. Cleric and I have returned to our hometown. Hometown is on fire. Hometown has been perpetually on fire for months in-game. Fires were originally arson. The culprits are gone now and all the people are evacuated. It's still on fire. Heard about Burning Man and we wanna investigate. Wizard spots a mysterious figure in the distance. We decide to confront him. Enter town, passing through what few non-burning roads there are. Fire elementals confront us. Fire elementals are wearing clothes somehow. Those clothes belong to the former people of the town. Fire elementals wanna turn us into fire elementals too. Roll initiative.jpg, fight goes okay, and then more elementals show up, and then even more. Big brain time. I cast Investiture of Flame, now immune to all the damage they could do. Attempt Diplomacy. Diplomacy failed. Q being leaving mid-shield, which was my plan anyway, and the wizard uses one of his spell slots for mass suggestion. He makes 12 of the 13 elementals leave us alone, and the cleric banishes the remaining one next turn. Totally clutch. The party decides to keep going for information. More elementals up ahead. Lots more. 21 of them, in fact. Obvious red flag from the DM is considered and politely ignored. The party gets sneaky. The wizard teleports ahead with one party member, and the cleric and the other party members sneak off to the side. I waltz into the middle of the elementals. Pick related. What are you doing in my town? Nearly a natural 20 distraction. They can't do shit to me. Immune to fire. Delay until the party gets past the horde. Natural 20 intimidation and scare the elementals back. Opportunity attack as they retreat. Warcaster and booming blade on a moving target. Another natural 20. The table uses crunchy crits. Roll damage plus maximize dice crit damage. 1d8 plus 5 plus 5d8 plus 48 for 82 damage. Elemental explodes like fireworks. Swagger out of there like a boss. This is my town. Everything went exactly as planned. Okay, based on the title, that's not what I had in mind, I guess. No, that was actually absolutely fine. Everything. Even though everything was also absolutely on fire. That was great, actually. The party makes their own quests. Be me. Substitute DM for a friend who got sick a day before session. Be not me. Veteran party of a fighter, monk, wizard, bard, and rogue. Have to fill in and make up something on the fly, and plan to do a generic tournament to give the party a chance to relax, maybe fight, and maybe gamble. Party stops at the town to stretch their legs and fix the broken wheel for their carriage. Hear about fighting tournament that the local lord is hosting. Go to the blacksmith to sell their crap from the past session. Introduce the blacksmith with a throwaway line about how he mentions that he thinks the local lord's daughter is beautiful. The party creates a new quest line. Commence Operation Matchmaker. Bard talks him into joining the tournament, mentioning that the local lord is offering whatever the winner wants, so long as it could be done. Blacksmith is easily persuaded. The fighter and monk teach him how to fight well. Cue Rocky training montage. Meanwhile, Rogue and Bard begin forging documents and forming elaborate family history to make the blacksmith have some noble blood in his veins. The wizard helps using his high knowledge skills. 1 week later, the blacksmith is entering the tournament. Roll stats for him and make him a good fighter. Or make him a fighter, actually. 18 strength, 12 dexterity, 16 con, 10 intelligence, 7 wisdom, and 16 charisma. Use human abilities for improvement to give him 20 strength. First fight versus a level 1 commoner. The blacksmith wins, no problem. Second and third fights are easy enough. Semi-finals versus a fighter with a rapier and about half the party's level. Wizard uses a spectral hand to deliver touch of fatigue and then touch of gracelessness. Nobody rolls high enough perception to see the hand do it. Opponent fighter is fatigued and has poor dexterity, causing him to miss the blacksmith. The blacksmith wins. Final battle versus a half-orc barbarian, 1 level less than the party's level. Bard begins doing bardic performance in the form of cheering. The fighter and monk chime in, drawing a crowd to cheer for the underdog. Blacksmith gets a critical hit in and decent damage. Wizard manages to slightly debuff the barbarian with a curse, giving him -4 to attack rolls. Barbarian rages and swings at the blacksmith. Misses by 1 point. Blacksmith hits again, but low damage. Barbarian shoulders his sword and backhands the blacksmith, disarming him and doing some damage. Blacksmith steps back and draws out his Smith's hammer. Barbarian attacks, and it's a natural one. Describe how the barbarian tries an overhead thrust downward, but misses, getting his sword stuck in the ground. Rogue uses Steve's Cant to tell the blacksmith to break his sword. Blacksmith is a blacksmith and knows weapons well. Natural 20 is the sword, shattering it and having a few shards cut up the barbarian's legs. The barbarian throws broken sword hilt at the blacksmith and hits. Blacksmith is down at 6 health. The blacksmith strikes the barbarian with his hammer and gets max damage roll. Barbarian bleeds from the shards in his legs. Bard secretly casts Anticipate Thoughts on the blacksmith. The barbarian throws a haymaker, missed by 3 points. Wizard is smirking to himself. The blacksmith lands a critical hit, but the barbarian is hanging on because half-orc ferocity. Barbarian swings a punch with the last of his strength and hits, but only deals 5 damage. The blacksmith wins the fight at 1 hit point. Blacksmith asks the local lord for his daughter's hand in marriage, and the local lord is against the commoner doing so. The rogue presents the quote-unquote findings of his family's lineage. The bard explains it, and the local lord decides to allow it. The rogue and bard enjoy their extra gold from betting on the blacksmith. And that is how the party that I was substitute DMing for made their own quest to help some random blacksmith marry a noblewoman. Okay, well, that was a really wholesome note to end things on. Alright, on that note, that's gonna be it for today's video. So thank you so much for watching, I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to leave a like if you did, and subscribe for more if you haven't already. Also, thank you to everyone supporting the channel on Patreon as well as here on YouTube. I appreciate it a lot, so thanks so much for that. Links below if you wanna check those out, as well as links to the social media, Discord, or anything else. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching, I'll see you next time. Have a great day, bye!